I wrote a book called Which Bible Would Jesus Use? The Bible Version Controversy, Explained and Resolved. And in it, I try to talk about I try to answer a number of different objections that we get, one of which is, where was the Bible before 1611? Now, how many times have you heard that one? Oh my, where was the Bible? What do we... My answer to that one, and please use it, is I really answer it with a question. Where do you suppose the Bible was after the invention of printing with movable type? Because that changed the entire world. All of a sudden, you could reproduce. It wasn't like everything before that was, we were dealing with manuscripts, handwritten documents. Not anymore. Now, you could set type and reproduce something hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of times and disseminate it like never before in the history of the earth. So, my argument of where was the Bible before 1611, the answer to it is being assembled. All right? We have printing that began in about 1450 with Johann Gutenberg and his printing press. You probably all know that story. The King James Bible was produced in 1611. So you have over 150 years worth of preparation. And it was during that time, I mean, there's a whole history that goes with this, but nonetheless, and you probably are familiar with it. But my answer is it was being assembled. And there were previous editions of the English Bible, and they were all part of the line. And then finally, the Lord comes out with the King James Bible. Now, that's the one that he disseminated all over the earth. There's been billions of copies disseminated. William Tyndale did his first edition in 1525, and they were all burned. But that was a starter. Then there was the Matthew's Bible, and Coverdale was the first complete English Bible. Then there was the Bible under Henry VIII, the Great Bible, monstrous piece. And then, of course, the Taverners and the Geneva Bible, which the Lord certainly used it. There's no question that he used it. Went through 144 editions. So, but again, they had circulation, but not the kind of circulation that the King James Bible has had.
Nor did they have the result in the missionary movements that came. As a result of the King James Bible, the gospel got spread. The fact that when people got convicted by what God put his hand on, this is one of the things that hit me as an anti-King James person doing the research in the history. When I saw that God clearly put his hand on this, I could not explain it in other terms. The missionary movement, when people came back to the Bible, they came back to the King James. Because each time they got a solid foundation. And even if they went off in a different direction after that, how did they get back to a foundation? Where did the revival get sprouted from? From reading and believing this. Now, just results. Now, this is a result man, okay? This is a man who starts companies and he initiates things and gets them done. He likes results. God likes results. This book is a book that I've watched through history obtain results. You want results in your life? I want results in my life. I don't want to play around with stuff. I don't want to play around with the morality that's around these days. I don't want to play around with the ethics that people have these days. Where do they have it from? I don't know. There's a whole lot of Bibles out, but when my ethics and my morals and my thoughts are trained into what I read in this book, it changes me. It convicts me. It makes me realize what needs to change in my life. In other words, if anybody's serious, prays to God and reads this book, I know it'll produce the results.
Results. You know, Winston Churchill said that the King James Bible had been translated, into 760 languages. So there's a testimony of the importance of the King James Bible. It's had 400 years of history. You know, one of the arguments against the King James Bible is this is salesmanship, okay? Oh, that doesn't matter. Well, yeah, but what about the 400 years? Oh, that doesn't matter. Well, in sales, when you run into an objection that is monstrous, that you can't answer, a sales technique is that you minimize it and move on. And that's what happens. That's what you've heard when you've heard people say, oh, that 400 years doesn't matter. Well, what do you mean all those? What about all the revivals? Oh, they don't really matter. All they're doing, you're being gamed by a salesman, because they're taking a major objection that you have, and it's a legitimate objection. Sometimes objections are not minimal, or there's some basis in fact. But you can't walk away from the results that the King James Bible has achieved, that the Lord has achieved by using it. In other words, stamping His seal of approval, if you will, on that book.
God sent His Son, born in a virgin, and came as God in the flesh, became a man, and that something He did on a cross paid for your sin and my sin, that all we have to do is put our trust in that person and in what He did in shedding His blood for us, and our sins would be forgiven. And it didn't stop there. He died and was buried, and 3 days later He rose from the grave, and then He ascended 40 days later into heaven, and that God is not able to preserve a book? Seriously?